Pickett to Pickens is no more. Is no more. Let's get straight into it. This week has been an absolutely crazy week, not just for the NFL, but for the Steelers and Steeler Nation as a whole. Okay, this is by far the most aggressive the Steelers have ever been in free agency since I've been a Steeler fan. And I want you to challenge me on that. In the past 10 years, guys, when have the Steelers ever been this active in free agency? A few years ago when Antonio Brown wanted out of Pittsburgh, which, I mean, that wasn't really that was probably the biggest thing that they've ever done in free agency since I've been a fan. But at the end of the day, it was just him wanting to leave the Steelers. So, I mean, I don't really know how much you want to put there. But the most aggressive thing I've seen the Steelers do is trade for Minka Fitzpatrick for a first-round pick. I think it was a first-round pick, yeah. That's the most aggressive I've ever seen them, and really the only time they've ever been aggressive since I've been a Steeler fan. But Kenny Pickett is no longer a Steeler. Now, when I saw it, I was at work, which is why I didn't make this video sooner. But when I saw that, I was in shock, man. I was in shock. And it's not that I was mad about it, because I don't really know who would be mad about this trade, especially when you actually look into the trade. But I didn't think that was going to happen. I really didn't. I really thought that the Steelers were going to have him at least till next offseason. Maybe if the things went too well with Russell Wilson, maybe they were going to start doing away with Kenny Pickett and be like, hey, we have our guy for now. We realize that you already have a few years in, so let's let you shine somewhere else. That was my thing, but I didn't think he was going to leave this offseason. No chance. So let's break it down completely, okay? He went to Philadelphia for, I believe, a 6th-round pick, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not too sure. Oh, no, for a 2nd-round pick. Yeah, a 2nd-round pick, from what I remember. Guys, I don't know. I'm not too sure. All I know is that they traded Kenny Pickett, okay? That's all I know. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I think it was for exchange for a 2nd-round pick, and the Steelers give away their 3rd-round pick, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I got that thing completely off. But the only thing I know is that they drafted. I'm stumbling over my words now because I still can't believe it. That they got rid of Kenny Pickett. Okay? They got rid of Kenny Pickett because, from what I understand, he requested a trade. After they signed Russell Wilson, he wasn't having it. And Russell Wilson even texted him. He's like, I'm looking forward to competing with you. I don't see anything remotely wrong with that text at all. Russell Wilson has something to prove. Kenny Pickett also should have something to prove. It's not like he was balling out before he got injured. I mean, the game against Cincy, that was probably the most balanced he ever looked in his career. That being said, the offense only put up 16 points. So, take it however you want to take it, but that's just what it is. Okay? In his tenure as a Steeler, he didn't start his career as a starter. It took, I believe 3.5 weeks or something like that. And when he first played, it really looked like, okay, this guy's going to be the guy. When he first played, when he played against the Jets, when he first got in, it really looked like, all right, this is the turnaround. This is the guy. This is our guy. Then a few weeks go by, and it's like, he's struggling. Then he gets injured. Then they go on this winning streak to end the season. I think they won their last 5 out of 6 or something like that. They won their last 4 games. But Kenny Pickett in that offense wasn't the reason why they were winning those games. Let's be honest here, okay? Defense kept them in the game, in those games, for most of those games, and Kenny Pickett was able to be clutch and drive them down the field to score a touchdown. Two of those games, they didn't even have a touchdown until that last drive. So, offense definitely wasn't the reason why the Steelers were winning at that time. And you flash forward to this past season, it's it was really the same offense, the same exact offense, and that's one of the reasons why I believe they truly decided to trade him. Okay, I I don't know how many people go by this thing, but really, I think the first 3 years are what decide it for you whether or not you want to stick with that franchise quarterback or who you hope to be your franchise quarterback. Okay, once you draft a quarterback, year one, you might not even start him, but if you do, you're hoping for some sort of some flashes here and there. I don't think you should. I don't even think you expect the team to even make the playoffs or even come close to making the playoffs. You just want to see flashes here and there. Okay? Which he did have flashes here and there. Okay? Even had some clutch moments. Year two, you want to see progression. You want to see a better offense as a whole. You want to see, him conducting the offense a lot better compared to his first season. Third season, you want to see him start balling out. You want to see the quarterback that you saw in him the moment you drafted him. You didn't even get to year three, guys. And year one, yes, he did show flashes. Year two, it was pretty much the same thing. It was the same thing. Offense struggled a lot. A lot. And some games, yeah, the one thing I'll give Kenny Pickett, is that he did show up that last drive or in the fourth quarter. Okay, he did. He did. That is one thing I'll give Kenny Pickett flowers for. Fourth quarter hits, last drive hits, he turns it up. That's the truth there. Okay? But the first three quarters, offense moves the ball, can't even move the ball 10 yards. Like, I'm telling you guys, it was bad. Like, it was so bad watching that offense in 2022 and in 2023. Minus their last four games, really. It was really bad. Offense couldn't move the ball at all. Okay? So, that's one of the reasons, and of course he requested a trade from what sources say, which sounds very realistic, because when Mason Rudolph took the helm and when he started to perform, they stuck with Mason Rudolph and they made it known that they were going to stick with Mason Rudolph. I believe it was after one or two games, or I think before his third start. So really, before week 18 is when they really let it be known. But let's be honest here. I think after his first start, they were like, this is the hot hand. This is who we're going to go to. They just weren't saying it out to the public because it kind of did look bad in a way. Because you're not going to stick with the guy who you want to be your franchise quarterback. But at the end of the day, Mason was the hot hand. I don't see anything wrong with them sticking with the hot hand, because that was the best quarterback play that the Steelers have seen since Ben Roethlisberger, man. That's the truth. But anyways, he didn't take that too well. Okay, he even said that he wasn't even learning anything on the sidelines, which is not a good thing to say, especially when the team wasn't necessarily performing, or when the offense wasn't necessarily performing too well when you were at the helm, And I'll give it that. The last time he started, he looked very well. He did. That was the most balanced he looked his entire career. but still the offense was only put up 16 points. You know, they did finally get over 400 yards, but the offense only put up 16 points. That's still not going to win you most games. Okay? So, this really did shock me, and I'm sure it shocked a lot of people, even outside of Steeler Nation. I was hoping that to to see what it would look like for for what it would look like for Kenny Pickett. Okay, just competing and to be, well, he probably wasn't going to be competing. Russell Wilson was definitely going to be the starter. Okay, but to sit behind Russell Wilson, even if it was just for a little bit, even if Russell Wilson played really bad and they wound up benching him and going back to Pickett, what it would do for Kenny Pickett's career to sit behind a veteran quarterback like Russell Wilson. I was really interested to see what that would do to Kenny Pickett. I was really hoping it would light a fire in him. Apparently it didn't. You know, it sucks. I really wanted him to be the guy, you know, he played college in Pitt at Heinz Field, drafted by the Steelers, played in that same stadium in the NFL. It really would have been a great story. But it wasn't a movie after all, you know. So we'll see what the rest of free agency brings. I like the moves that the Steelers are doing. It really seems like they're truly evolving with the game now, which hasn't really been something that they've been doing, which is probably why they've been in this same cycle, you know, where it's like, oh, we're 8-8, we're at 500, 9-8. What was one of the 9-7-1, 10-7, or something like that, just above 500, you know, because look, the Steelers way's a great way, okay, but the game has changed. The game has changed, you know. So we'll see what the rest of this offseason brings for the Steelers, man. Will they get Justin Fields? Will they draft a quarterback? They're going to need a quarterback. They're going to need a quarterback. I'll ask you guys, what should the Steelers do at the quarterback situation? You got to do something. You got to do something. You have to do something. It is a must, because you can't have one quarterback on the depth chart. And I'll leave you guys with that question. All right? So other than that, guys, it's been a very monumental week for the Steelers and Steeler Nation. The fact that they've been this aggressive in free agency. Like I said before, after the Steelers got eliminated from playoff contention, I wasn't expecting anything from free agency. And this is all making me so happy, the fact that they're doing something in free agency. Finally, there's change. There's change, the change that the Steelers needed. But, yeah, that's all I got for you guys. I do have to break down all the other craziness that has been happening. I'm not sure when I'll drop that video, but I'll get this one out first, and I had to make that video another time. But other than that, guys, here we go.